Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast. It's Wednesday, June 10th, and I'm Blair Kirchhoff. Today, we bring you sounds from the Chiefs and more audio than we've ever presented on this podcast. But what Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Tyrann Mathieu had to say was interesting and important. They each talked for about 25 minutes and almost exclusively on race and social injustice. Reid spoke with a passion I've never heard at a press conference. Mahomes and Mathieu have become NFL leaders on these topics, and they have started down the road to increase voter registration. So let's just get into this, starting with Andy Reid.
All right. Listen, it's my pleasure to get with you guys as we wind down here and get ourselves ready for the summer break, however long that might be. We know we won't have players in the building here, so we'll finish up just like we normally would. But and so again, I appreciate your guys' patience throughout this whole off season. It's been a unique experience in a lot of ways. With the coronavirus, our hearts go out to those people and that have had to endure, the frontline people that have just been absolutely awesome, and in particular the people that have lost their lives. I mean, that's been tragic for those families. And then, with the issue with the racial issues going on now, I mean, it breaks my heart. I'm an old head, so I've been around long enough to have seen a few generations, and now three different generations come through, including my own. And I'm so happy. I'm so fired up about our younger generation, man. I mean, they are taking it and they're attacking this thing the right way. And I just think we have this great country, and these kids know how great this country is. They absolutely know how great it is, and all they want to do is make it better. And I think that's a beautiful thing, especially, like I said, I'm not getting any younger, so I've got grandkids, and I'm blessed that these guys are all and ladies are doing this and standing up for what they believe. I was lucky enough to grow up around diverse cultures and religions, everything. So in Los Angeles, and then obviously I was in sports at the same time. So my respect for people is for people, and we're sitting here with this push on Black Lives Matter, and absolutely they matter, man. I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm in complete support with them. I believe in communication. I believe in what my parents taught me about. At times like this, you have large ears, man. You sit and you listen and you learn, and you become better. And so that's where I'm at. I appreciate Patrick and Tyrann for what they did and standing up and making a statement that allows all of us to be in a better place where love is first, and we can surround all of ourselves with great people, and most of all respected people that we come in contact with. This world is a great thing. I go way back to I'm glad Heavenly Father gave me an opportunity to be here, first of all. So, and then there's a reason why our players in the National Football League get so excited to come to work every day. The head coach, the coaches get so excited. Myself, I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak for others here, but I get fired up every day because I get to work with our guys, and I get to see how smart and how much they just thrive on life and competition and just the greatness in which they bring to my spirit every day. And I mean, I always wish that everybody could feel that, and that's what really our guys want, man. They want to take this and allow others to feel it, man. And we've got to be open-minded and open-hearted to do this. So I respect how Clark Hunt has taken this and jumped in with the players and just said, hey, listen, I'm in support. I'm all ears, man. I want to learn and I want to listen and I want to help. And Mark Donovan has been just tremendous with the guys, as Brett Veach has been, and their support. And Tyrann and Patrick have kind of headed up with the players and putting together some thoughts on what they can do to make things better in Kansas City here, and they're working through that now, which I just again I appreciate and completely support it. So my heart goes out to the three people that have passed away, but this isn't something that's new. I mean, I saw it as a young person, and it's going on today. Technology has exploited it here, so we can all see it, and you better believe it, man. You better believe it. It's real, and it needs to end. And our hands, us old folks, man, this younger generation, they are studs. They believe in themselves. They believe in each other, and they believe in equality. And let's jump in, man. Let's jump in full-fledged. Let's jump in. Let's learn. Let's listen, and let's make this place even greater than it already is right now. And we have a chance to do that. With that, listen, I'd like to tell you that the off season has been it's been interesting for those reasons there, but it's also been a great learning experience for our players and coaches. Not only have we learned all this technology, but we've also been able to incorporate it into teaching. So even though we don't have the players on the field, we're able to spend a couple hours with them and teach. And we haven't slowed down a lick. I mean, we've introduced new things to the guys, and we've gone back through and reviewed our scheme evals that the coaches spent a lot of time this offseason going through and being critical and trying to better ourselves. We got plenty of room to improve, and we're all willing to do that. So that's where we're at. Again, we have another week left here. Next week we'll finish up. Right this week here, we're actually going back through, like you guys know we do, going back through our opponents, AFC West opponents, and our first game, which we know now. So. And we're going to get ourselves ready for camp. We don't know exactly what that's going to represent going to camp. We don't know where we're going to be or how we're going to do it and all that. But we'll keep our ears open and we'll be ready to roll, man. And whatever situation is presented to us, we're going to dominate that and work our tail off to be great. And that's where we're at. All right. With that, time's yours.
Start with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Adam.
Good. Just to make sure I understand, you are finishing up this week? This will be it for the virtual offseason program?
Next week will be our last week.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
This week is opponents, and then next week would be where we would have normally had our mandatory mini camp. So we'll finish up next week.
Okay. You said earlier that you're in full support of everything Pat and Tyrann and everybody else is doing in support of Black Lives Matter. And you talked about Donovan and Clark and everybody else is doing that. Can you talk about how you all are supporting the players in that respect?
Yeah, so they're heading towards a program of voter registration and working through teaching and educating through with the voters registration. And that's, again, we're working through that as we speak here. So, and we'll have a statement for you once we get it all taken care of.
Let's go to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, thank you for the time. The protests that are going on right now, a lot of players are saying that those protests are going to carry over into the season, that there will be kneeling for the national anthem at the games. I know how that, was a very controversial subject, right, several years ago. Have you had conversations with Patrick, with Tyrann, about what the plan is for the players, what your plan is? Has the league spoken to you? Has Clark spoken to you about how that'll be handled?
Yeah, no, I haven't even gone there. This isn't about kneeling. It's about progress, man. And so we all get hung up on this other deal. That's not what this is about. But if we can just focus in on appreciating life, appreciating people, not judging by the outer skin. You asked this question, man. I appreciate you asking, but I used to do a thing with blow pops. And when I talk to kids and try to educate, this is from when I was young and up through till today. And I take 4 blow pops, pick 3 kids, say we're going to have a bubblegum blowing contest, right? Within one of those blow pops, I take the wrapper off, put a $100 bill in, around the wrapper. Not one time in the 50 to 100 times that I've given this talk has anybody picked the wrapper that's messed up, right? That looks like it's been messed with. Because everybody, people judge by what's on the outside, what they see, instead of getting in and enjoying what's inside, which, is this example would be that bubble gum, man. And so let's get away from judging. And this goes for everybody. This goes, but we're talking about racial issues here. Let's get in and let's see what's inside people. And when you do, you're going to see beauty, man. There's some beautiful, beautiful people out there that we're putting walls up against that we don't have an opportunity. To me, we're not here on earth very long, man. I'm taking advantage of every person I meet. I'm going to take advantage of that person and try to shoot them and look at them for the good. And then if they prove opposite, then I'll go that direction with it. But I'm gonna give people an opportunity, and I've tried to do that throughout my life. And again, that was for my parents and my upbringing and where I grew up. So, but this whole thing, I mean, it needs to end. I'm sorry for going off there, but I was just trying to fill you in on kind of a little something there. Go ahead.
So I do you anticipate having conversations about, I understand what you're saying, Coach, but this is, a lot of what the players have said is that people.
That's not where I've been or where I'm going. No.
Okay.
That's not where I'm at right now. And I don't want people to focus on that. That this is bigger than that, right? This is more important than that. And right now, I know people are going to start counting heads and focusing on this and that, and that's terrible. That's not what this is about, man. Don't worry about that. Worry about getting better and go out and do that. Introduce yourself to somebody and make a friend, man, and see how good people are. Let's get back to some of the basics.
Let's go to Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Andy, how, as a coach, I guess, how proud are you of your guys, Ty and Patrick, to become basically overnight kind of leaders of the NFL and leaders of what's going on right now with these players?
I love it, man. I see it every day. That's why I get fired up to come. And it's been that way since I've been a coach. I'm telling you, this generation, I've been coaching for a couple generations now, and that's why I get fired up. And you guys ask me every week. You ask me, hey, I see you sitting with Patrick and talking. And I tell you every week, I listen to what Patrick says. I listen to Eric Bieniemy, Mike Kafka. I listen, right? I listen. And so how important is that? I think it's a beautiful deal. Dig in and try it. Let's try it. And everybody, I'm talking, listen, I grew up in the city, so I know there's there are gangs for every race. There's a gang, right? Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes and try to see the good in each other, man. And it will work out better. It'll work out better for everybody. And it's we're all humans. It's such a good, and that's the beauty of this thing. We're blessed to be here.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, thanks for doing this. I have 2 questions for you. You mentioned Clark earlier in your original statement. Just can you give specifics as to what the conversations were like when you saw the players' video and how Clark hopes to help their efforts? What specifics have you guys had in terms of those conversations?
Clark, yeah. Let me I'm gonna get both your questions. I'll take one at a time.
Okay.
I don't want them to run together for you.
Okay.
So listen, Clark was unbelievable. I mean, he was he was so proud of those guys, and he called them and talked to them. So, that's how Clark does. However people see it, he's unbelievable with the guys that way, and he's all in. And our guys know it. That's why you don't hear a lot of chatter and that these guys they know that they have an open ear to talk to, and whether it's Clark, Mark, Brett, myself, it's an open ear. We're there to listen, and we're all in it together. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're a team. That's what team is. That's the beauty of this thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier with Patrick and Tyrann maybe putting together a voter registration program. How, as an organization, are you guys going to try to either get behind them or try to push sort of the issue that players want?
Absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. No, we go in now. Those guys are heading it up. I'm proud of them for that. But Clark Hunt's right there with them, and so I'm proud of that too. He's all in, and we're all in. So it's that's what we need to do. And I'm doing way too much talking here, but the talking needs to stop, and we need to, dig in and let's go, man. Let's go do something.
Let's go to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Coach. First of all, thank you for talking with us. Now, I know you mentioned earlier about the players, but if they decide to take a knee, and I don't want you to really, I don't want to say that you're setting it aside, but if they decide to take a knee opening night, would you and your coaching staff not only take a knee with them, but peacefully protest it? And then also, Coach, I know you talk about everybody look inside and see the good of one another. If they were to do that, we wouldn't be in the situation right now. What about this particular video right here, right now, made the Chiefs organization come out and Patrick as well come out and say something? Obviously, when Colin Kaepernick first, kneeled down or whatever, we talked about it during the Chiefs when you all played the Los Angeles Chargers a few years back, and then of course, senseless murders have taken place by police officers since that time. But then now, this particular video, this particular time, why here, why now?
You're talking about that video right there. What's the beauty of that? The beauty is that it's all different people coming together. I'm right down by the plaza, man. I see it. The beautiful thing is that it's not one race supporting. It's not one race. It's all races supporting Black Lives Matter, man. And that gives me chills just talking about it. That's our younger generation. That's what's going to set up this country for my grandkids. And I'm fired up for that. And the Colin Kaepernick, I'm not going to get into all that. I don't know all the answers. I don't have all the answers for this. But I just know that picture you just showed me and asked me about. That fires me up. Let's
go to BJ Kissel. Go ahead, BJ.
Oh,
BJ, you got us?
Yeah, sorry. Coach, just want to say I appreciate your time, just echoing what everyone else has said. I'm just curious, during this time, what experiences are you leaning on, either through mentors that you've watched as a coach, growing up in this business, or just situations that have arisen that you can kind of lean on as far as how to keep a team together and how to communicate with the guys in a situation like this to maintain that togetherness that you pride so much in your teams having?
Yeah, so listen, I grew up in Los Angeles during the 60s and 70s. My high school was a melting pot. I had a Japanese head football coach. I had a Hispanic defensive coordinator. It goes on. This is what I had. I had black teammates, Asian teammates, Hispanic teammates, Middle Eastern teammates, and you mess with one of them, I'm gonna get after you. You know what I'm saying? We all came together. That's a team, right? That's the team. So, that's how I feel. I'm all in. I was raised that way. I don't see those other things. I see humans. I'm not looking at the wrapper. I'm gonna look at what's inside, and I'm gonna get in there, and I'm gonna find out, man. Are you a good person? Are you willing to work? Do you care about other people? What's inside, man? What makes you tick? And if I can help it tick a little better, I'll try to do it. If you can help, take your strengths and help me tick a little better, let's roll. I mean, let's go. I mean, and I'll go all day, and I'll be your biggest supporter. And if somebody messes with you, I'm coming after you. That's how I go. But it's because of the upbringing I had and the way I was raised and where I was raised.
Looks like we've got 3 more hands up, guys. So we're going to go Pete, Sam, and then Herbie to close us out. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I was wondering, one of the big parts of Roger Goodell's statement the other night was the league just finally admitting it was wrong. And you've always been a league first guy. I just was curious some of your ideas of how potentially the league could come through this and go from one place to work to a better place to both play and to work.
Yeah, no, I think Roger, he was a stud right there. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, to say I was wrong. How many of us have a hard time saying that? And listen, time can do that to you, right? So we've all been in that position where things change. And it's changing right now. How great is that? Every generation's changed in some way to get us to this point. Now we get to put it down and end it. And like I said, I mean, I'm big on this. So it makes the NFL better. It's going to make our country better. We live in a great place, man. We are so lucky to be here. My guys tell me that every day. They know that. And now they get to make it better. If you take that and you take what we do as a team, and what we talk about all the time is, how can we become better than we were before? Now, you might have to take a step back to be greater, to take a step forward, right? So that's what these guys believe in, and you're seeing it now. You're seeing everything that we see every day, and why we get so fired up to talk to you guys and deal with y'all. So I got to get over that prejudice with you guys. I mean, that's how we feel. We see this, and it's so exciting, man. It keeps old, like I said, it keeps old heads like me young. So I appreciate it.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Andy, just echo, thanks for making the time. Quick question. I'm just, the reaction from the league, specifically players, is so much different now than it was, 4 years ago, for instance. Do you have a theory on why that is? Are guys feeling more empowered? Are they just feeling stronger about the issue? What's your theory on that?
Yeah, I think it comes back, now that I'm dealing with all this technology, I think it comes back to technology helps us learn here. And we know the evils of it. There's good and there's bad and everything, right? So, but there's good in this. And so people saw this firsthand. So that's why the picture that we just saw, everybody's in. Everybody's talking the same talk here. It's time to change. And like I said, I'm proud of this generation for doing that. I mean, I think it's a neat deal. But I think it's what people see, and they've heard it over and over. Now they've seen it. And, I think it's a positive thing.
Okay, Herbie, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, Coach, always a pleasure, and thank you for sharing your passionate thoughts. I have 2 questions here for you. I mean, I can go with one, and then kind of like what you did with Nate, or you want me to go ahead and fire both at one time?
Yeah, you throw one at me, Herbie.
Okay. There are a couple of reports out there this morning about a shortened preseason, as well as the Chiefs potentially starting training camp on the 25th of July. How much do you agree with shortening the preseason if you do have to report on the 25th?
You know what, Herbie, I'll do anything that we have to do. I want to make sure people are safe. I think we all do, right? We want to make sure that that there's no repercussions, and we're in a time of change with the COVID-19, right? So we're learning new stuff every day, and the doctors and scientists are doing a phenomenal job of it. So let's see how it goes. I think the league is feeling probably the same way. They haven't given us anything on start date or not, other than what was the start date before. So rookies are in the 22nd, or you can bring them in a little bit earlier, I guess. But you mentioned that we have this new CBA. So I've gone through and with training camp, I put together along with Eric Bieniemy and Spags and Tobe a regular training camp, and so with flexibility, if we have to go a different direction, we can do it. But we're ready to roll. And by the time we leave, we'll have a completely set. And then if they give us new rules, then we can change it. We can change as we go. But right now we're full-fledged on, and I'm sure there are going to be different things, hurdles that we got to cross, but we'll be ready.
My final question, Coach, and you mentioned COVID-19. Alabama, Auburn, in the past week, they've had players out there practicing and they tested positive for coronavirus. How do you go about balancing as a head coach, going all out, knowing that threat is still out there? What is your message to the team and the players that they do have to stay safe?
Well, social distancing, all those things are important right now until we know more. And we know that right now that works, so let's focus on that. And until we know something else, and we'll do something else. But this is new, and so let science kind of help us along with this thing. And we still should, hopefully time takes care of it, which it normally does on these things. I've lived through a couple of these different types of things. I had the opportunity of coaching in San Francisco when the AIDS epidemic was going on. So I felt that firsthand, and I get the urgency there, man. So let's just hang with it and see. And we all know there's going to be some kind of change potentially going on, and we'll adjust.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners: unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.
Patrick,
what's up?
Can you hear me? Or you see us okay?
Yeah, I can see y'all. I believe I can see some of y'all, so hopefully it pops up when y'all talk.
Perfect. All right. Well, if you're ready to get started, we're ready to roll.
I am. I'm sorry if my dogs start barking in the background.
No worries. We'll kick off with questions, and we'll go to BJ Kissel. Go ahead, BJ.
Thanks for the time, Patrick. With your platform and just the status that you hold as, one of the faces of the NFL right now, just how have you worked through the challenge of understanding the scope of all the different things that are happening right now in ways that people could help, while figuring out for you specifically how you want to help and how you want to push forward in trying to make change?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've done is just lean on people that I respect, who I believe done it the right way. And I've been lucky enough to grow up with a lot of great role models around me, and just trying to find and listen to them as they talk to me, and then other people around the league who I feel like I've done it the right way, and listen to the advice they give me, and then trying to make the best informed decision as far as what I do and the next steps I take to move forward. Because like you said, I've been given this platform, and I want to make sure that I can do whatever I can to make the world a better place in whichever way that is.
Let's go to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick. Thanks for the time. Can you name names on that? I'm just following up on your answer there to BJ. Can you, who specifically did you talk to that you respect? And is this something you plan on doing more of going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'll name a couple. I don't want to name everybody. There's a lot of them. I mean, obviously I talked to those guys in the video, like Michael Thomas. I've talked to my godfather, LaTroy Hawkins. I've talked to my father. And then I've talked to coaches and people that I respect, like Coach Reid, and really just got as much information as I possibly can. And there's several others of people I talk to that I get advice from every single day. And I try to do that as I make any decision and do whatever it is that I end up doing.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick. Hope you're doing well today. Understanding that there's a lot of voices and a lot of players involved in this player movement right now, but none of them are you, and none of us quite accomplished at your age what you've accomplished in your career. Are you aware of what kind of weight your presence lends to the cause here?
Yeah, I'm definitely aware. I'm aware of everything. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm aware of coming off a Super Bowl championship and being the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning team. But I've always believed in people, and I've always believed in when people do things together and do things for the right reasons and have a good heart when they do it, that things get done and change happens. And so that's how I've grown up. Like I kind of said in my statement, I've grown up in a locker room, so I've seen how people have come together and strive for a certain goal and to go do things. And I believe that if people have the right intentions and have the right heart and come together, that they can really affect the world and make it a better place.
Let's go to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold. Oh, Harold, you got us?
We got it now, Brett?
Yep, we got you, Harold. Go ahead.
Patrick, you hear me good?
Yep.
All right, man. Well, hey, I just wanted to ask you, going further with this message that you sent, what would kind of be your message to some of the young people that look up to you now that you're in a position where you're looked at as an MVP and a champion? What's your message to the young people that have to deal with some of these things with racial inequality and maybe their dealings with the police, something through your past that you may have gone through that was dealt with in a racially motivated way? What's your message to them that look up to you to say, hey, I'm going to get through this and I'm going to try to make myself better, and see how you're bringing people together to come back and make a better place?
I would say to do the same thing that I've done my entire life, and that is to talk to the people that have taught them their values and have taught them the right way to do things, and listen to them, because they've had those experiences. And I'm 24 years old, so I'm maturing and learning things as I go. But I've learned a lot from people like my dad and LaTroy Hawkins and Coach Reid, and learned that there's ways to handle things in order to get your point across and to respect people and do the right thing. But you have to learn and have your own experiences to do that. And so just taking as much information as you can, making the best informed decision that you believe you can make, and try to do whatever you can to make the world a better place in every action that you take.
Let's go to Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Patrick, you've kind of gone from the leader of a franchise winning a Super Bowl to now basically the leader, the face of the National Football League. How do you kind of view your responsibility as now as the face and the leader of the entire league?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's always been about just being the best person and the best teammate and the best friend that I can be with whoever I interact with. That's what I was taught as a young age from my mom, and then from my dad, and from everybody around me, is treat people the right way, and usually you get treated the same. And if it doesn't happen, keep your head up high and head held high, and just go out there and be the best person you can be in every instant. And if that's on the football field, or if that's listening to one of your best friends talk about their feelings or whatever it is, just be the best role model, the best person that you can be, and all the other things will handle itself.
Let's go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve. Steve, you got us?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yep, we got you.
All right, cool. Hey, Patrick, a lot of guys in the league have said that they wish they would have done things differently in support of Colin Kaepernick, but they were scared to do so at the time just because of, how they would be viewed by fans, ownership, potential sponsors, and so forth.
I lost you there for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you again. Say it again.
Hey, a lot of guys in the league have said they wish they would have done things differently in support of Colin Kaepernick, but they were scared to do so at the time because of how that would be viewed by fans, ownership, potential sponsors, and so forth. Leading up to your statement that you made via social media and also the Black Lives Matters video, did you have a concern of any possible backlash that, what fans have said, and have you seen anything, both positive and negative?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with every decision that you make, there's going to be positive and negatives, and that is the world that we live in today. But I believe in both my statement and the video that I made that stuff needed to be said. We needed to come together as a group, as players, and show that we believe that Black Lives Matter, and that we believe that this needs to be informed, and we need to be the role models to go out there and take that step. And obviously, it was great to find the support that we have gotten from the Chiefs, from me, from Coach Reid, from Clark Hunt, Mark Donovan. I've talked to Roger Goodell, and he has shown his support to us. But it's something where I'm always going to be informed of my decision and understand that there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. But if I believe something and I truly believe it, I'm gonna, like Coach Reid says, let my personality show, and I'm gonna stand behind my words, and I'm gonna take whatever consequences that comes with it, and hopefully they're positive. But I'm gonna be the best person that I can be first, whatever that is.
Let's go to Blair Kirchhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Hey, Patrick, I just wanted to know what you made of the Drew Brees, 48-hour period, the change of heart, and what that says about him.
Yeah, I mean, I know Drew. I've known Drew for a pretty long time, just being from Texas, and I know that he is a good person and he has a good heart. And obviously, his statement missed the point and missed what was going on in the world today, and took away attention from the movement that was going on and the peaceful protesting that was going on. But I think you see with his actions afterwards, and I believe with his actions moving forward, you will see the true person that he is and how much he cares about his community and how much he cares about the people that he's around. And, I mean, time will tell, but I've known from every interaction that I've had with him that he's always shown me the utmost respect, and I believe that his actions will show that as we continue to move forward.
Let's go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, I appreciate you taking the time with us to discuss all these matters here. You mentioned a lot of the support that you had, and unfortunately in today's society, you're also going to have your share of detractors. What would you say to the stick to sports crowd to make them open their ears and hear their message?
Yeah, I would just say that you have to believe that we are people too. And I feel like those people have kids and they understand that their kids can play sports and their kids could possibly be in the same position that we're in. And they would want their kids to show their heart and show who they truly are and try to affect the world in the most positive way possible. And that's what we believe that we're doing. And so obviously we know that not everyone agrees with everything that you're going to say, but just know that when we say stuff, we mean it and we care and we want to make the world the best place for our future kids and for generations to come behind us.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick. Hope you're doing well. I have two questions for you. The first being that Andy Reid a little bit ago said that you and Tyrann are trying to work together on creating a voter registration program. Can you just share as many details as you have as of now? And then why was that the first step that you guys wanted to make as part of this movement?
Yeah, and I think it came from talking and listening to teammates and people just throughout our organization, and obviously with the voting coming up as far as local offices and everything like that, we wanted to make sure that was on the front of our mind. We've talked about several things, nothing that is completely informed in stone, but voter registration was one big one that we really want to move forward with. And so we've had initial talks with Clark, and we've talked with Mark Donovan. And we've set up a meeting for next week with our committee and with a lot of the players that are kind of the leaders on our team. And we're going to try to find the best way to give money or support or whatever it is to get as many people registered to vote. And so they can go in and try to affect change in every way that they feel possible.
All right, guys, we've got 4 hands up. We'll try to buzz through these real quick. So Len Jennings, let's go to Len. Go ahead, Len.
Patrick, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. You mentioned recently about your social media post. You talk about the team in the locker room, and I believe it's the same post that you also mentioned your parents. Was there maybe a conversation you had when you were a kid, but maybe you realized that something wasn't quite right, where you had a conversation with your parents, and what have they done for you as you go forward with this huge endeavor? Maybe some advice that you get from them going forward.
Yeah, I think I always reference back to it in a lot of different situations, and I've talked about it today. But I never had a talk or like kind of how people have had with their dads or their parents about being black and the inequalities that you could possibly have. And I was blessed to be in a smaller town, a smaller hometown where everybody kind of knew who I was, and I never was put in a situation where I felt like I was not getting the same privileges as someone else. But as I've grown older, I've learned about it, and through having a black side of my family, and I've seen how they feel about it, and I've talked to people like that are on that side of the family, and I've also talked to people that are on my mom's side of the family, and I just feel like I have a great perspective of of how people feel and how the Black community feels of how they don't feel like they get the same I guess rights and value in some situations. And so my job, I feel like having my platform is to do whatever I can to just bring those feelings to light and let the rest of the world understand how people feel, and so that we can be a better community and a better world together.
All right, we're going to go Darren, Tyrann, and then Pete. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Patrick. First things first, man. When you do the voter registration, I've ran political campaigns on the national side. I hope I get a chance to work with you and the players on this. But it's a two-part question. I want to know, could you take us through your thought process from when you first saw the video, murder of George Floyd taking place, to when you decided to make your initial statement on last Monday? And then what decision-making went with you being a part of the Black Lives Matter video? And then I'll follow up after you answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of your question, I can't watch the entire George Floyd video through and through. I've watched it in parts, but it hurts me too much to my soul to see him and feel like I can't help. I can't do anything to help the situation that happened, the horrible situation that happened where George Floyd got murdered. But to me, it just affected me knowing that I have people in my family who have been in and out of jail, and that could have been put in that situation. And that's where it took me, is that could have been one of my family members, and that could have been someone that I cared about. And I know how much hurt that his family must be feeling, or I can't even understand it, honestly. But that was, I wanted to sit back and listen. I didn't want to act off of anger. I didn't want to act off of hurt. I wanted to listen and make the best informed decision that I think I could to help the world, help the community with my platform. So I felt like that was my first where I kind of came up with my statement of trying to unite and show love to everybody. And then when I got the video, Michael Thomas actually sent me the video and the script. And I loved the idea, and I wanted to just get every piece of information that I could on it. And I called everybody that I really trust and talked to them about it, and decided that I really felt like I needed to be in this video, and I needed to show my support to unite with the players and show that we care. And that's kind of how we came to make that video. And obviously the NFL has came back and shown and made a video to kind of support what we said. And we think that's the first step, but we want to make sure that it leads to action, and it leads to different things that we can go out in the community and do to make the world a better place.
Couple things. I will say, on behalf of the Black community, we do appreciate you speaking up and speaking out. There were questions before, but your participation in that video spoke volumes to us. But going back to what about this particular murder caused you to speak up and out? Obviously, Ahmaud Arbery happened in February. The video came out in May. Breonna Taylor murder took place in March. But why this one and why now?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a culmination of just seeing all of this happen and wanting it to stop, and wanted us to find a better way of preventing these instances to happen. And it's not that one of them was more significant than the other. It was just all of it happening, and then me feeling like enough is enough. We gotta do something about this. And I'm blessed to have this platform. Why not use it? And I feel like I've gotten older, and I know I'm still young, I've learned a lot. And I think that was one of the things I know I have this platform. I know not everyone will agree with it, but I'm going to do my best to make the world a better place. And this is the right moment to do it.
All right, Tyrann, let's go to Tyrann. Go ahead.
Patrick, thank you for your time. I'm curious, very quickly, Roger Goodell responded to the players' video. And that's a new approach from what happened when Colin Kaepernick led the kneeling protests, the peaceful protests that happened the last time. That's great that the words were there in support of what you guys are talking about, but actions have to follow, right? I know Coach Reid, and we've discussed the voter registration that you're talking about, but in your mind, there are a number of players that have talked about that they're going to kneel when the games start again. In your mind, there was a lot of blowback from the owners last time. If the owners are not allowing that, even embracing a peaceful protest on the field in that manner, is there really change from the owners in the league? And furthermore, have you spoken with Colin Kaepernick? And can we say that the league has really changed if Colin Kaepernick does not have a job in the NFL this year?
I have not had the chances to speak with Colin Kaepernick, but I think, like I said earlier, I believe in people, and from every conversation that I've had since that videos came out, everybody has shown support of us, and we talked about peacefully protesting, and we talked about finding ways to fund social injustice programs and initiatives. And from Roger Goodell to Clark Hunt to Mark Donovan to players around the league, I feel like everybody has that same passion and wants to make this thing right and to do it the right way. And so I feel like I'm gonna give everybody those chance. I'm gonna give everybody a chance. I mean, obviously, action is gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to make sure that we do go out and we make things happen within our community. If players kneel on the field, they have the support of the team behind them, and I think that's just something that we're gonna have to see. I mean, obviously, a lot of talk we've talked and we've peacefully protested in the communities and everything like that, but until people go out there and action happens and change happens, we won't know for sure. But I'm very excited for the opportunity to go out there and be a part of it and be a part of the change that's going to happen in our community.
Okay, let's go to Pete Sweeney to close us out. Go ahead, Pete.
Pat, thanks for taking some time with us. I have two things. Just on the field, I was wondering just how much time do you really need in your mind to be week one ready with so many uncertainties? I'm just curious, is it 2 games? Is it 3 or 4 weeks of a Andy Reid training camp? And then, again, with all these off-the-field matters, I was just curious if you have ever given any thought to whether or not you plan to peacefully protest during the national anthem this fall.
Yeah, I mean, first off, on the field, I feel like I've been staying in pretty great shape. Obviously, we haven't been at practicing and doing those things, but I mean, as of right now, it looks like we're on the right track to get there and be in training camp and doing those things. But I've been throwing with guys, I've been working out with guys, I've been doing whatever I can to stay ready, knowing that we're missing these OTAs and we're missing these mini camps and everything like that. But I'm excited to get back with those guys and get back working and being ready as soon as possible, knowing that the season will come quick. And as far as kneeling, I've never thought that the kneeling, it's not about who kneels and who doesn't kneel. It's about having the right to peacefully protest and to recognize that social injustices are happening and that racial inequality does happen every single day. And I just want the community to be somewhere where everybody, including Black people, feel like they can go into the community and be safe. And whatever way that is, whatever actions that we can take to do that, it's all about doing that as quickly as possible.
All right. Let's start with Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Ty, what's up, my man? How are you doing?
Good.
Hey, when Michael Thomas contacted you about being part of the video, what was your kind of first reaction? And now that you're kind of a leader and a face of the National Football League, what kind of responsibility is that for you?
When he first reached out to me, I thought it was a great idea. He actually needed a couple more guys that he was just trying to see, who had, the most influence, who would be willing to, put the name out there. And so it was kind of good to see a bunch of guys, with great influence throughout the NFL, be a part of that. I think our social responsibility, I think it goes far beyond the football field. I think we have a true impact in our communities. I think we're able to influence, masses of people. And for us, it's about, owning that and doing it the right way, and being conscious that the only way we're going to ever get any kind of change is if both sides, are willing to change. And so that's the biggest thing, is to, fall forward together.
Let's go to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold. There you go. Go ahead.
Hey, I hope you're doing all right, man. Obviously, I saw what you did for your New Orleans community with what you're doing with, paying the rent and everything for some families down there. Just did this kind of encourage you to do even more than what you were doing? You do so much within the community, but did this kind of be a call to action for you to even do even more and try to step up and make others step up as well? Just what you're doing off the field as well?
Yeah, I mean, I always preach, to my guys, to my teammates, former teammates, how important it is for those guys to use their platform. Some of those guys come from big cities. Some of those guys come from small cities. And,
I think if all of us reached back, we were all kind of important in our communities at one point in time. And it's important for us to never forget that. And even with that said, us being where we are today, it's important for us to go back into our communities and, educate them, continue to push those guys forward. And I think this right here, everything's going on. I think a lot of guys are going to step up. It's going to be much more than guys, pitching football camps back home. I see a lot more guys really getting involved in their communities, really trying to push it forward.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyrann, I hope you're doing well. You talked a minute ago about the player video that you were involved with Michael Thomas and everybody. Were you aware when you did that or agreed to do that, what kind of impact that video would have?
I didn't. Us as football players, we don't really think like that. We tend to just do things, and whether they have a good or bad effect. I don't think the intentions of the video wasn't to necessarily be, heroes. I think ultimately we saw ourselves as the guys to say something. And I know for a lot of us, it's been going on a while, and it's probably, most of us would consider this the second time around. And the first time around, a lot of us didn't speak up. A lot of us wasn't vocal for many reasons. And I just think right now, collectively, everybody just wants to see everything pushed forward the right way. And I think it's important.
Let's go to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Hey, Tyrann, thanks for – sorry, kids are in here. Thanks for the time. But I want to expand actually just on what you just mentioned. Like you said that some of you would consider this a second time around and a lot of people weren't vocal. Why is this different? You guys just feel more empowered? Are you just more fed up? You more aware of your influence? What's the difference now?
I think people are tired. I think the first time around, a lot of people wasn't necessarily aware. I think when Kaepernick and those guys did what they did, they just did it. I don't think that they necessarily made every player on every team aware of what they were going to do. And I just feel like right now it's a more overall concern amongst all players. And I think most of us understand that we all could have been, Colin Kaepernick in the sense that, we wouldn't be playing football anymore. So I think all of us are just taking it, personal in the sense that, yes, that could have been us, but what are we going to do about it going forward? And I think that's where we're at right now.
Let's go to Vahe. Vahe, go ahead.
Thanks, Brad. Hey, Tyrann. Just a few minutes ago, we saw Andy Reid speaking with what I thought was pretty passionate and sincere discussion of his feelings about race, and it made me think that is a little bit of how he connects to you guys. Have you felt particular inspiration from him during this, or connection with him about these sorts of things in the past?
I mean, I've always respected, Coach Reid. Really outside of the, the football field. Even if you're able to work with them, you could see the kind of impact he has on everybody, including minorities. And the kind of opportunities that he's offering these people. So I think, for me personally, I always knew where Coach Reid stood. And I think he's always on the side of right. He's always on the side of what's fair. And I think most importantly, he's about his players. So, it's been good to kind of talk to those guys, talk to Clark Hunt, Mark, Brett, have that open line of communication where you're able to talk about, tough topics, and it's important, going forward that we're able to continue to do that because we have such a good football team. We have a lot of young guys. We have, a few older guys, but for the most part, most of us are comfortable with each other. And so it's important to kind of continue to, push each other forward, fall forward together, knowing that, we do have a real family here. It's a real family atmosphere, and it can be sensitive. So it's important for us to collectively push forward.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Tyrann, thank you for taking some time with us. I was curious, in your words, you're always a thoughtful guy, and you're a guy with kids. you started with the video the other day. What do you have to see both in the NFL and the world, say a year, 2, 3 years from now, to say, okay, I think we really accomplished something here?
Yeah, I think, ultimately you would like to see, obviously you would like to stop seeing, people killed, on video, whether it's on video or not. You would like to see more people step up, no matter what side of the fence they're on. And I think most importantly, like I continue to mention, it's all about us coming together, collectively. And we all come from different parts of the world. We all come from different spaces in our lives. And I think the most important thing to understand is that, in order to move forward, we're going to have to love each other. We're going to have to listen to each other. We're going to have to, begin to understand each other. And, I just look at the world as such a big place, such a beautiful place. And if we're able to come this far, with so many issues, imagine, how far we can go if everybody collectively works together. I think one of the things, we're going to do, myself and the Chiefs included, which I talked to Clark about this, but if we're able to really, impact, voter registration, if we're able to really give those people a voice, and really allow those people to really go into their communities and really elect their leaders. And I think that's going to be very, very important going forward. I think if you want to change anything, you're going to have to educate people on what it is that they have to do to change things. And a lot of times, it's a lot more than just protesting. You have to really find a call to action. And I think voter registration, I think that can impact a lot of people. I think that can really, see good change.
Let's go to BJ Kissel. Go ahead, BJ.
Hey, Tyrann, thanks for the time. Along those same lines, you talk about voter registration. Just why was it that the kind of thing that you guys as a group landed on? I know there's a lot of different things out there. What was it about that one in particular that just kind of resonated with you guys as a group? And then I have one quick follow-up.
Yeah, I think, I think we can sit here all day and, talk about a lot of different things, right? And most of those topics are very sensitive. They're very tough conversations. And I think voter registration isn't one of those conversations. I think it impacts everybody. I think everybody can, be a part of that. And like I mentioned, if people could really, even guys like myself and more guys like me, if we can make voting cool, if we can make that a trendy thing, then, we're really changing the future. We're really setting these kids up for a great future. We're really allowing these kids to, access to more opportunities, offering these kids more education and more resources. And I think the way to do that is to put people in office that are going to do that. And one of the probably the most important thing is, to vote. And so, but a lot of folk don't think that's cool. And maybe we can make that a cool thing again.
And the quick follow-up is, what is your message to people that have the best of intention, who want to help, who want to do the right thing? But as you mentioned, the call to action. What's your advice to those people who want to help but don't know where to start?
Man, just throw your hand. I mean, it's so many huddles. There's so many different entities that you can just throw your hand in. There's so many different services that you can volunteer for. So many different foundations. I do a lot of stuff in the community. So if anybody's looking to do something, they could just holler at me. But yeah, man, so many different things. So many different people offer so many different things, and it's going to be up to us whether or not we want to support that, whether we want to get involved with certain community affairs, and which I hope that a lot of people, I hope a lot of players, I hope a lot of athletes and entertainers. I hope we use this time to make those things cool. Going back to our community centers, really putting money into those places. After school study halls. Making sure that these recreational parks are funded. The right way. Making sure those guys have equipment. Making sure those guys are. Making sure those guys have transportation. It's just a lot of ways that we can really help. People that don't have it, and people that don't have it aren't only black folk, they're white folk too. They're Asian, they're everybody. So I think it's going to take a total group effort. I think the whole world is at attention right now, and it's the perfect time for all of us to help out anyone. It can be anybody. So
let's go to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Tyrann, thanks a lot for doing this. Good seeing you. I want to ask you the same question I asked Patrick Mahomes. As with any message, you're always going to have your share of supporters and your share of detractors. But, like, given the platform that you have, what would you tell the folks who sit on the stick to sports side of the house so they are able to hear the message?
It's hard. Like I said, a lot of us are, deep in our communities. We feel the need to, speak up, for our communities, about our communities. It's up to us to defend our community, to defend certain people, to shift certain narratives, to shift certain perspectives about, my people. So, like I said, I'm excited about where this world is, even though, dealing with COVID and then falling into this, it's been tough on everybody. And I just hope that we all can really use this time to collect ourselves. First of all, I think we're most powerful, when we're calm and collected. And, from there we can make great decisions. We can do great things with our actions. And I think that's most important.
Okay, let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Tyrann. Good to see you, man. I know you mentioned about how making change happen needs to come from, people being more educated. When you get the opportunity to speak to Clark Hunt about this specific topic, whether it's Clark or even Mark Donovan, what did you want them to listen from you so that you feel like they were educated about your viewpoints and your perspective as it relates to Black Lives Matter and obviously the, sort of the protests going on in America and what the NFL can do to help change the community?
Yeah, well, he asked me, me and Clark had a great conversation. He asked me, what was it he can do to help me, to help people. And, for me, it's been that, voter registration, and I think if we can really do that, if we can really, impact the polls and really make it fair too. A lot of local communities, a lot of small communities, Black communities, even those people that are voting, it's a hassle, 2-3 hour wait. So if we could really get a program going, man, to get behind that, to be the first ones to make that thing cool, and then to see 30 other football teams do it and 30 plus, basketball teams do it. And, I think that right there, because a lot of sports teams are, it's full of minorities, it's full of kids from Black communities, it's full of those people from urban areas. And, it's going to be our duty, it's our responsibility, man, to understand that, yeah, we do have $1 million and we can, fix, some things to a certain extent, but to really make change, to really see our kids have a future, to really see young Black minorities, to let any minority, hold great seats of power and great offices. I think that comes through voter registration. Young kids going to the polls is no different than players going to a football game. I want to be like a football player. Well, if these kids start to go to polls and they start to see, these Black senators or these minority people that, have come from these certain spaces and yet they're here to help them. I can only imagine, how many great people this world will really, really begin to breed,
Okay, let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyrann, you talked earlier about the movement maybe a few years ago when Colin Kaepernick was maybe leading the peaceful protest, and it seemed like you maybe had some regret about how you handled that situation back then, or what your involvement was with that situation back then. Did I read that right, number one? And what did you do back at that time? And were you at all concerned back then about maybe the consequences to yourself or your career if you did become more involved?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't think about my career. I think I was in a different space than most people. I think what I had was fragile. I had went through a lot to get to where I was at, and for me, it was about continuing to turn a certain corner. But that was my focus was on. It was making me a better person. Trying to be the best teammate. Trying to avoid negative headlines. And so my focus as I grow older in this league, I'm mature enough to understand that a lot of things, are beyond me, and it's okay to go beyond me, to help people. It's not about just me fixing myself or building myself up or making sure I'm strong enough to handle my life. I think at many times in our life, people are going to need us. I've reached out to a couple of those guys who've it's unfortunate, but those guys aren't playing football anymore. And for me, it's a respect thing. I think I'm at a different space right now where I'm able to kind of understand, more things in the NFL. It's not just about Tyrann Mathieu, the player, staying straight, not getting suspended. I think my priorities are bigger now versus when I was, 24 years old,
All right, guys, we've got time for a few more. We'll go Ruth, Sarin, and then Herbie to close us out. Go ahead, Ruth.
Sorry about that. I was going to unmute myself. Hey, Ty, how are you?
Yeah, good.
These have been really tough times. First we hit COVID, and then we hit all the unfortunate things going around George Floyd's death. You've got kids. These are tough conversations. How have you approached this with your own children, and any advice you'd share?
Yeah, I teach my kids to love themselves, to really love themselves. I think, if we're able to love ourselves, appreciate ourselves, we're able to really accept other people for who they are. We understand that that's not a reflection of who we are. So for me, it's all about educating my kids on love, man. Teaching them to love themselves, teaching them to love their neighbors. And then it's like the greatest rule of all. It's just, always have respect for people, always have respect for environments. Even when your environment's negative, you can show great respect by leaving, And so that's what I try to teach my kids. And they're still young, but I think they're at the age, 6, 7, where they're kind of understanding certain things. And so, but ultimately, for me, it's about teaching those young kids to love themselves, to love their friends, to love the life they live, and to ultimately respect everyone. So I think that's really what I'm preaching to my young kids.
Let's go to Sarin. Go ahead, Sarin.
Tyrann, thank you for your time today. You talked a little bit about going back to what was done with Colin Kaepernick and some other players joining in, and clearly, right, that didn't fix everything, because here we sit today. Along the way, it was very clear that the NFL worked against that movement. Roger Goodell basically said as much in his response to your video. What do the owners need to do to keep this movement alive, to be on board? Does it include Colin Kaepernick having a job in the NFL? Does it include them embracing players that want to peacefully protest in and around the games? What would you like to see the players do? You mentioned people look at you as a player and say, well, you may have $1 million. Well, I can look at the owners and say they have $1 billion. So what needs to come from the owners in your mind for them to continue this, so that we're not 4 years from now having the same conversation after watching another video?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Colin Kaepernick, I had the luxury to play against him earlier in my career. Definitely feel like he's worked, being a part of any NFL team, whether it's a starter or a backup. Along those lines, I think what the owners can do, and they can continue to do, is continue to listen to their players like they have been. Continuing to take can take our honest opinion, on a lot of things, and because they do, have the finances and have the political pull to really see to a lot of change. And I think that's going to be, very, very important, going forward, is that, players not feeling like they can't, speak to upper management about, certain issues that they may truly be passionate about. I think some of these players are, I think half of their passion is football, and then others, they have passion for other things. And for some people, it's, seeing change, seeing equality. And so, I think it's a lot of things that the owner could do, the owners can do. I think most importantly is to, obviously offer, Colin Kaepernick a tryout. Hopefully he's in somebody's camp this year. And then, obviously continue to see minority coaches continue to rise, throughout this league, throughout this game. And because that's going to be very important. A lot of these coaches, whether they're white or black, they do a lot for the team. A lot of the culture, a lot of the attitude, a lot of the environment, a lot of the structure comes from, assistant coaches. So to be able to continue to see certain guys move through the ranks, that'll always be great for us. And continuing to see our superstars step up, whether they're white or black. I actually reached out to Drew Brees. He had been somebody I had admired, my whole life. I still remember the day, he brought the championship to New Orleans. I think I was like 17, 18. I went straight to Bourbon Street. I had to go celebrate, but I've watched him do so much for the community. And so I still hold that respect for him. So, and it's going to be important for guys like him to continue to speak up and fall forward because he do so much for the community. He do so much for black folk, my folk, down in New Orleans. I always admire him. When I'm not there, he's the one, really holding that responsibility. So it's going to be important, for us to continue to fall forward together. Like I said, that's how I think we're going to be stronger together. That's how I think we'll see, real change. It's a great world we live in, but I think it can be so much better. And, I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, Herbie, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Sure. Hey, Tyrann, a two-part question here for you. I know you're a football player and you want to get back to the football season. How comfortable are you with the NFL's protocols to bring players back? And the second part to that is, how do you approach the break between next week and the start of camp, knowing that coronavirus is still a threat out there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just obviously, my rule number one every day I wake up is to protect my family, so definitely wouldn't want to be, bringing anything back home to my family. But along the other lines, man, I miss football. It's been too long, I'm excited about it. I actually talked to somebody today. I don't think I ever checked out. I'm still like in football mode, and I think that's a good thing for me. So it don't matter when we start. I'm gonna be ready to roll. I'm excited about it. A lot of my teammates are excited about it. Even though this off season has been, a little bit different than most. I think we've actually got a little bit better. I think we got a little smarter. So hopefully, most guys have been using this time to make sure their body is right, making sure their mind is right. Because we have been through a lot these last couple months, and to go to football season, it's going to take great leadership. It's going to take great accountability for everybody, for all 32 teams. It's going to be a lot on a lot of people's mind, and I think us as a team, we got to be able to use that as our advantage. We got to be able to lock in, really, be there for each other. So I'm looking forward to it.
Whew, that was a long one today, wasn't it? Thanks to our production staff of Derek Donovan, Savannah Smith, Randy Mason, Beth Welsh, Jeff Rosen, and Chris Fickett. Links to stories about the Chiefs can be found in the show notes and always on the Red Zone Extra app. Hey, earlier in the episode, you heard me talk about the Sports Pass offer. It still stands. It's a good one, $30 for a year's worth of sports coverage, and that includes the Sports Extra on the e-edition. There's more than 20 additional pages of national sports coverage today. Here's an even better offer. Buy the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports news, features, commentary, analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus extra sports news and business coverage. The details can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. That's account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting and supporting the best news and sports coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Thursday with another episode.